That's what's up. I have one more question for you. Since we went, down this road with 50 Cent, you talked about, his rise to fame with the mixtapes and that sort of thing. Can you speak a little bit about the mixtape era and what it meant over in the UK and how it's a relic at this point? It's something we're really missing in the game right now. And I just want somebody ingrained in the culture to speak on that a little bit.
So the mixtape culture is my favorite. Era is my favorite era of hip hop. Like, there's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. I still have all my original mixtapes that I have on CD that I used to buy. So in London, there was this store just off of Oxford Street. It was like behind Oxford Street, and it was called Dark and Cold. And I lived in the south of the UK, and I used to drive in my beat up Renault Clio every 2 weekends to London. It was like a 4.5-hour trek just to go to this store and buy DJ Clue mixtapes, K Slay mixtapes, DJ Envy mixtapes, DJ John mixtapes. Like, I used to Green Lantern mixtapes. Green Lantern is one of my favorite DJs. He's a very good friend of mine now. Like, those blend tapes that Green Lantern used to do were special.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Who Kid mixtapes. I still have every single one I ever bought. Like Jadakiss, The Champ Is Here. Like,
one of my favorites.
Those mixtapes. And you got to remember, it was like the way they introduced Cruise. So, like, G Unit was introduced that way. D Block, when obviously the Locks changed to D Block and they added J Hood. Like, that was how we, listen to these things, and how remixes were put out there, and how unreleased tracks. That was the era when Joe Budden was like rapping his ass off.
Music.
With the padded room tapes and
Mm-hmm.
like, so it was special to me because that was how I got the music before anybody else. And I would, to get certain mixtapes, I'd have to go on, because I always wanted the physicals. So I would order tapes from livemixtapes.com. There was another website called mixtapeusa.com, which I ordered a lot from. And I had a column in 2005 to 2007 in a magazine called Blues and Soul. It's like the longest running black music magazine in the UK. And I had a column, and it was called The Corner. And I actually had like I created a chart, and it was my personal mixtape chart for every fortnight of which mixtapes I thought were the best. And I would get Mixtape USA to send me a bunch of free mixtapes, and I would create my chart based on that. And that was how I, educated people on the mixtape scene. So for me, it was special, but for the greater, the broader spectrum of like hip hop fans, that, like we tell these kids, it's really funny you're asking me this question right now, because I had to interview this guy the other day called Patrick Cloud, and he hosts the Rap IQ show that Red Bull do.
Mm-hmm.
And we did the interview in my building because we have these business suites downstairs. And in the interview, I was talking to him about the mixtape era, and he's younger. And I was like, come up to my apartment. So he came up, and I pulled them all out, and I was playing him shit. And he was like, what the fuck? And he was like, never heard this. And I was like,
he's hilarious. I've seen him on YouTube a lot. He's hilarious.
he's such a good kid. Like, and he really culture. But I'm playing him. I actually played him Jadakiss The Champ Is Here mixtape. I was playing him. I have a DJ Corrupt tape that has 5 unreleased Eminem diss records, like Cannabitch going at Cannabis, and like the track going at Benzino. And I was playing him this stuff, and he was like, wait, I've never heard these tracks. And I was playing him Joe Budden tracks. Like, there's the I think it's the Dear Angela track where he's talking about his ex-girlfriend stabbing him. And he was like, wait, what is this stuff? And I was like, bruh, this right here is the greatest era in hip hop. Like, everything, because it was like crate digging for mixtape fans that weren't DJs.
Oh, absolutely.
You had to go and find this shit and spend your money. And then outside of that, it was like the intro, there was when the internet became a thing. I was on GUnitPunked US all the time, downloading shit. And I was, in the early days of Dat Piff. And I've been a member of Boxton since the beginning. And I was downloading shit on Boxton when you used to be able to download shit on Boxed, and it later became It's BX, and you couldn't download stuff. That was how we found our shit, and then it became the blog era. So the mixtape era made way for the blog era.
Right.
But it was our crate digging. If you were a hip hop fan and you didn't have Jadakiss The Champ Is Here, or like, I don't know, Rap Phenomenon, the Tupac, when DJ Vlad was a fucking DJ.
Yeah, I mean, he was a real DJ.
Like
when he's actual DJ.
It was him and Harry, you know, what was it? Harry, what was that?
Dirty
DJ?
Harry.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Green Lantern. And they were making these tapes, and it was Rap Phenomenon.
Mick Boogie.
They did the Biggie one. And there's obviously you had the Nas Lost tapes.
Oh my goodness.
And
Green Lantern.
Like that is how we found our shit.
Yeah, Big Mike. Don't forget about Big Mike.
I mean,
Re-Up Gang.
Yeah,
Re-Up Gang.
It was like Big Mike and the Street Sweepers, right?
And
it was like again the K Slay stuff and DJ Cool Kid. Like I remember the first time I got to listen to the Cassidy versus Freeway freestyle battles was on a Cool Kid tape.
It was a Cool Kid tape.
It was him and Cassidy. No, sorry. It wasn't. It was DJ On Point.
Yes, because it was very muffled. You couldn't really tell what was going on.
And it was like a Cassidy on DJ On Point tape, and his tag was "Is that what you want?" Chris Tucker from Money Talk.
Is that what you want? Yeah. That was his tag. Then throughout the entire mixtape, that was his tag. Yeah.
Right, and that's how I found a lot of this shit. Like because, and then again the internet, and I was using Kazaa to download shit like Kazaa and.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. Me and Sean were talking about Kaza. Yeah,
because I was my shit. Like I never did the what was the other one that everybody was on?
Napster.
I never did Napster.
I did Napster and LimeWire. I had like 5,000 songs on LimeWire.
And
I'm one of the reasons they don't exist anymore. Because I mean, I was pillaging daily.
Yeah,
right. And you couldn't download them in full albums. You had to search individual tracks.
You're right.
And then put it together. And then you had to do it, and then you'd have to make your playlist.
And they would be different bit rates, so the quality would be different. And you'd put the be like, oh man, this is whack. And then sometimes you'd download the track and it wasn't actually the track, or you'd get a clean version. Like that's how I got a lot of those early G Unit freestyles of, you know, like 50 rapping over, you know, Raphael Sadiq beats and Black Rock beats and that was.
Well, you know what the mixtapes did for that era for me is that they made us stop listening to the media and the magazines so much. We had a conduit to tell us who was hot and what was popping. Like when you said D Block, I'm still remembering the first time I got the mixtape that had "This is D Block, mighty D Block." Everywhere we go, it might be. I might have that CD over here still. I'm like you. I'm a collector. I have Rockefeller's "The Empire Strikes Back" with the Beanie Siegel diss towards Kiss over the "Put Your Hands Up" beat. Yeah. I still remember where I was when I got that in Greensboro, and like we put it on, and we were like, "Oh shit, Kiss is in trouble."
when they were beefing with each other, and that was how it was. It wasn't like, you know, dropping it online. You had to get these tapes to hear that shit, or you had to tune into like Funk Flex on Hot 97, and he'd run it back like a million times. Or for us, it was Tim Westwood on the Radio 1 Rap Show. Like that is how we would digest that shit too. And then it'd be like, right, how do I get my hands on this tape?
But I like that parallel you made with the digging into crates. Like if you're not a, you know, actual producer or DJ, because you went to your local mom and pop spot and was checking for the latest, hottest mixtapes, you know, to hear those disses. So I've never heard that analogy or that parallel made, but that's exactly what it is, you know?
Oh my God. Yeah. And like, you know, even the street, I remember coming to New York and being in Harlem and just seeing dudes selling mixtapes on the street. And I was like, take all my money. Take all of it. I don't care if you've reprinted the artwork. I don't care. And then what I always loved that was so clever about those mixtape websites was you would order the mixtape and pay for it. And when it arrived, on the inside of the artwork, it would have a price. And on the website, it'd say that you were buying the artwork and the CD came free. Like they were trying their hardest to find a way.
That's that loophole.
I was always like, yo, this is so clever. Or it would say for promotional use only or whatever. Like, because obviously they were stealing that shit from labels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
and like talking about mixtapes, did you guys see the mixtape documentary?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I haven't.
Is it on
I-
Netflix or?
It's
No.
it's Paramount Plus.
Yes.
Paramount.
Okay.
It's actually pretty good.
Well, I think it was good, but it was way too short. There was a lot of stuff they did not touch on.
They can't.
And it's like
I
I was really annoyed because I was like, yo, this could have been a series.
Well, they couldn't go that far with it.
They didn't even really like think about, people were going to forget this too. What about the Justo Mixtape Awards?
Right.
Like Lloyd Banks won mixtape like Artist of the Year 2 years running. No one else did that.
Right.
That's why I love Banks.
He was killing it though.
Yo,
but they couldn't go deep into that. They couldn't go deep into that bag. It would have opened up a lot of different.
You know, it needed to be a series. I mean,
Hero Hip Hop Talks Will did that, so hopefully they ain't have to go through that. You know, like we got the exclusive.
hey, look, I'm in LA now. Maybe I need to just start pitching stuff like this and be like, yo, we need to series, like, and do a different mixtape DJ for every episode.
I mean, you know, the thing that's beautiful about this generation, that, you know, where our generation is kind of conditioned differently. If they don't like some shit, they just go get it cracking. They're like, you want to know it? I think I'm going to build an app for that to fix that problem.
Right.
So it's like we can fix that problem ourselves.
It's like what It's The Real did. They made that Blog Era podcast series to talk about the blog era. It was like, all right, if no one else is going to do it, we'll just do it ourselves.
Right. It's the consumer is different now. The consumer has become the consumer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Will, we appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.